Hi, I'm Mary Beth Sabatek, clinical hypnotherapist and also the developer of the energy model of therapeutic change and the founder of the Psychoenergetic Institute, here to talk for a moment about your amazing soul. 2020 was a really wild and woolly year for everybody. And if you can think of a wild roller coaster ride where some people didn't fare so well, and we know a lot of people lost family members this year, and it's been a hard year for many. And on the other hand, we have others who enjoyed the ride. They took advantage of the ride by utilizing the things that they had no control over to gain control. So one of the things that I started seeing this at the as this year is coming to an end, today's December 30th, is I have two groups of people I'm experiencing, and one are client groups and some forms that I have, one for toxic relationships, one for PTSD, and the other is just a hey, raised to a higher vibration type form. And so what I'm finding is with these particular people in this group, in these groups, then it's a lot of sharing about this horrible situation I'm in, and my situation is painful. My life is hell. I'm broke. I'm this. I'm that. What do you want to do? And some people offer fantastic advice. And when I see it, I always put the little gif with the bells ringing. But others are, it's like you watch them, the blind leading the blind. Well, if you love him enough, then maybe he'll change if you talk to him. Maybe if you ask him how you can help him. Maybe if you explain this, how much you love him. And I'm watching this stuff and I'm going, oh no. And so one of the things I finally started offering at the end of the year is, hey, I'm starting some new pages, a group for everybody. And I would love to have you be a part. And these are pages to raise our vibrations, to raise our spirits, and to find our soul purpose. So the focus is going to be on where do you want to go? What do you see for your future as a high vibration person living, finding first and living your soul purpose and your divine mission. And so what I found was every time I mentioned having this type of group, crickets. That's all. And nobody would respond. But the minute somebody would get into these groups and put in, oh, woe's me, and this and that, and I watched as people would actually protect this toxic relationship, or they would protect their PTSD. If you were to suggest to them that, hey, you know what, you can overcome this. There's a lot that you can do, believe it or not. And I know when you're in these situations, it seems so hard and it seems so impossible, and it's you don't understand. But anytime that it would be mentioned, hey, you can overcome this, you can live that life, you can be that person, then they would just grab on and say, who are you? And this is who I am. This is what I'm about. And you would see them protecting this PTSD or this toxic relationship. In the meantime, all the people around them that they could be having wonderful times with and investing their life energy to are suffering or stress, and there's so much chaos in their life because they're protecting the very thing that's destroying them. And so I said that there's another group of people, and that are the people who said, you know what, I lost my job, it stinks. We are getting this check here. So you know what I'm going to do? I've had this business that I've been working on marginally because I'm working full time. I'm going to invest and I'm going to get all these processes worked out and get it flowing. And I had one person who came to me in the first 2 weeks that they were laid off just by going through and fixing a few processes. They're like, I just made $11,000 this week or in the past 2 weeks. And I saw this over and over with people who were able to utilize this time to do some work on their own life, to release some people in their lives that were weighing them down, or to release the things in their lives that were weighing them down. And so they're coming out of 2020 way more prepared for whatever is next, way more prepared to not be so dependent on a person or a job or a thing. And so you have these two groups, and you have these one that want to hang on, and these other who have broken through, and they're continuing to move. They've broken through those first barriers of, yes, we can break through this. And so I wanted to share a dream that I had. And all my life, I would, as a kid, I would have these dreams, and I could fly, and I could walk above, about 8 feet in the air, and just, I just remember feeling so free, and I could go and I could look down and see how everything really worked, and see what was really going on. And I had a perspective up there, that I didn't have below. And it really helped me to kind of understand people and situations and things. But as I got older, this dream that I went through this stage where I couldn't fly like I once could. I would have all these people hanging on to me in weight, and I tried to get off the ground and I couldn't, and I kept crashing and I could never do it. And I would be trying to kick them off and say, "Leave me alone. What are you doing? You're making me not be able to fly." And one time I had this dream, and it was so clear. It was as though I was there. And I was back to being a child in the house that we lived in, and with my two parents before they split up. And my sisters and my mom were in the kitchen, setting the table and getting ready for dinner. And I could hear all those sounds. I could smell those smells from back then. And my two smaller brothers were in the next room wrestling and playing as they always did. And somehow I dreamed in this dream that this was the first time I could ever do this. Now I'd had those dreams before, but this particular dream, I dreamed that I was just discovering that I could walk 8 feet off the ground, and I kept practicing, and my little brothers were so amazed. And I kept practicing because I wanted to go in and show my mother and them. So finally, once I really knew I could do it, I went walking in the kitchen and over the kitchen table where they were setting it. And I was so proud of myself. And they all looked at me and started yelling at me because they didn't want my dirty feet to be over the kitchen table. Now, mind you, I'm 4 feet over doing this very impressive thing. And all I cared about is my dirty feet. And then get down from there, you're going to fall. And the more that they yelled at me, and at first I was laughing and saying, "But look what I'm doing." But the more that they yelled, the more insecure I got. And pretty soon I just fell down into the middle of the dinner table. And I remember like hitting myself here, and, my hand hurting here. And I remember every little place that I banged and hit, and the cuts and things because dishes broke. And I remember getting in big trouble, and I woke up and I was like, wow. I mean, it was like I felt like I just committed a crime and somehow bailed to another time period out of there, because that's how real that dream felt. But I started thinking about that. That really made me start questioning, why am I having all these dreams of, I used to be able to fly freely and do all this stuff freely. And now all my dreams, I can't because of all these things. And so, how does this apply? That was when I first started realizing that we have a soul mission and a divine purpose. And we also have the capability to see life and see the world from the spirit or the soul, and see it from a higher perspective. And so, I started praying and asking God and asking my angels and asking my higher self to show me what they're trying to tell me. And I started looking at my life and realized I was a counselor. And at that point, I may or may not have been in a director position, but I was also working on doing some consulting things on the side. And what I realized is that in my friendships and in my side business that I was trying to develop to do leadership training, that must have been after I was a director. So I was trying to develop the side business, and I was bringing people on board to be a part of that because I could see their potential. But the problem was is they could not see their potential for themselves and they didn't have the vision that I had. And so I was dragging these people, and I mean, not that they were coming unwillingly, but they were like, okay, I'm here. When you get it going, let me know and I'll jump in. And they didn't really have the vision. And you really think I'm that great? You think I could? And I'd be like, yes, you have such great ideas. And if we could do this and that. And so what I started realizing is that while I was trying to build this team for people who I had a vision for, they didn't have it for themselves. And the clients that I was trying to win over could tell that. They could tell I didn't have a strong team. And it went as far as when I was introducing my team, and one person, they said, oh, and who are you and what do you do? And they said, oh, I'm just this. I'm, whatever she tells me. Instead of really understanding what their role was and how do they have to contribute. But I remember how eye opening that was, realizing that I was carrying people, and I had friends that were the same way. I had some really good friends of equal vibrational energy and spiritual energy, but I also had some friends that were just always in chaos and crisis, and I was always having to run and help them. And I realized that those were people that did not need to be in my inner energy core, even though I may have known them for years, or even though they may be close to me in certain ways, or it might just seem like, well, gee, we were once good friends, but we outgrew it. And I don't want to be those people that, gee, now I'm better than you. Goodbye. But what I did realize is sometimes we have to distance those people and put them on the outside of our energy field instead of making them a priority. Because what happens is it's kind of like in the toxic relationship, we get all tangled up with these people, and so our life becomes chaotic, and when we allow that in, then we do that dance too, whether it's toxic or dysfunctional or low vibrational. When we allow this stuff in, low vibration people, low vibration behaviors, low vibration relationships, then that's the vibration we function in. We can't go any higher than that without untethering this. And so if you look at this, we used to go to the hot air balloon festivals back in Jamesville, New York. And those balloons, they could sit there all day, and as long as they're tethered, they're only going to go up however high they are, maybe 100 feet. But the minute they untether those balloons can just soar and go wherever they want. Just like when I was a kid, in my dreams, I could fly and go wherever I want. And sometimes I had friends flying with me, but they were friends who already knew how to fly. And so I realized, as you look at this, and I guess I already told you what I realized, and that was that I was trying to carry these people. But if you look at this going into 2021, this is a dynamic opportunity to free your soul, to free your spirit to soar. And part of that is going to be to take some time and get into a quiet, prayerful, meditative state and look in your life at who and what you don't need in your energy sphere. Who is weighing you down? What is weighing you down? What dynamics? What behaviors? What I learned is that there were ways I was responding and reacting that were keeping me in a lower vibration, but it was because I was with lower vibration people, and that's the vibration I was in. So once I recognized the people that needed to go out, and then I had to work on me to make sure that because in my toxic relationship program that I have, Rebooting Your Life 2021, then I share that toxic behavior is contagious, and dysfunctional behavior, wrong habits and behaviors, they become contagious because we leave a situation or we get rid of the stimuli that brings it in. But if we don't heal and mind ourselves and take that out of our own life, then we can take those same habits that we picked up someplace else and bring them with us. So this is a great year for, instead of looking at all the negative that's gone on and, oh, all this is happening, take this year, Utilize your resource of time. A year is going to pass, 2 years is going to pass with or without you working on you, with or without you having the tools that you need to free your spirit, to find its divine mission, and to start fulfilling it. So I encourage you to stop and see us at the energymodelofchange.com. That's the Psychoenergetic Institute. Look at some of the fantastic programs we have. If you're a coach or a therapist, we have the Energy Model of Change for you to become certified in that for your own clients. And if you're an individual who wants change, we have that program for you to go through. So free your spirit in 2021. Get back and start getting to know your amazing soul. And I hope you'll stop and see us at the energymodelofchange.com. Thanks, and you have a great day.